Hey, what's the gig? Danny Dealz, Daniel W. Dealz, Triple D, Deal Machine, whatever you want to say, hanging out at the Dealz house with the crew. Back at the Dealz house, just got back from Chicago. You can hear the throat is a little sore. I'll get it out, that's okay. I had to carry Tim Storm on commentary, that's what happened. I was looking out for the girl Val. Val couldn't be there, I hope you're better. Anywho, the Deal Machine not only got new stuff, but I also found some old stuff, right? I was digging around and I found some stuff in archives. So, I have repopulated this. It's the classic T, yeah? I repopulated a little bit. Found some mediums, found some larges, 2X, 3X. Also still got some of the purple, easy for me to say, purple variant left, right? Not a whole lot because I took them to Chicago, but I got a few left. I had put some of these up. It's in the featured items column, right? Right? A few of the pay-per-view shirts, not a whole lot left, but I got a few left. What the hell, right? What am I going to do? Anyway, check this out right here. I tried to unearth this. Kyle Davis stole like 3 of them from me. He's like, give me that. I need that when I work out, and I got to show everybody my guns. Look at that. Look at that nice new tank top. It's pretty fresh, right? Okay, anyway. So, what else did I... Oh, yeah, I found this, too. All right? I found some of these. Not like this one. I'm going to redo it. But I found some of these. A nice, lightweight T-shirt hoodie, right? Got the power gimmick right there. Found some of them. Some 2Xs. This is an XL. It's the only one. Found a few more. Anyway, I also found some more of these back. Whoa, jeez, I'm just dropping stuff everywhere. Anyway, look at this, right? See this bag? It's weatherproof, it's whatever, it's all heavy and everything. Yeah, found some more of those too. They're still on sale. I'm just going to leave them on sale. I put them on sale because I thought I only had 3. Now I got like 20-something. Anywho, right? Oh, yeah, found more of these. People always say, where's the Power Volume 1. Well, I have some more. Volume 1, whatever. Season 1, you know the deal. Oh, I found one of these too. You want it? Get it. It's still on sale. I'm not going to change the price. Also, right? I got about maybe 10 of these. I don't even remember. Anyway, got some autograph posters. By the way, not everybody signs where they are. Like the Werewolves signed it, but they're not. They signed over here and stuff like that. So that's why it kind of looks a little bare in the middle. But in case you don't want it signed right here, there's a few people, Michael, that like the unsigned posters. I put some of those up too. Obviously, the prices are different. What else do I got? Oh, I got a signed turnbuckle. Where the hell did I put it? I don't know where I put it. It's over there. I forgot to grab it to show you. And if I ran away, you know, Matty, he's not much of a chatter when the camera's on anyway. Lep is, but that doesn't matter. Be quiet. Oh, also, so I got the signed turnbuckle up. Go to the features items tab. That's where it is. Anyhow, also, I reprinted a few of these, but now they're almost gone again because you know what? It was still chilly up there, yeah? Still got a few left. Nice, lightweight. I got to get back. I got to make all kinds of new stuff. This guy's over here singing about whatever. And what else? Okay, that's it. Anywho, I got to get back to work. Where's this thing at?
Well, what is up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA, the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. Of course, we're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance. Danny Dealz, how's it going?
Garrison, good evening.
It is good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here since everybody else kind of bailed on us since trying to decide what look I like better. This one. This one. Anyway,
this one's good too, in case we have a run-in. But that new curtain I got back there sucks. So it looks like I have this giant hole in the wall. But yeah, the other brothers are getting ready to go down under, hang out with men at work, and all that kind of stuff. So they've got a quick turnaround for them.
Yeah, if you aren't aware, the NWA is going to Australia. The World is a Vampire tour. That's going to be happening very, very soon. I think they head down. I think they said they fly out like Wednesday or something. Weird, like that 10-day tour.
I like Amy over the Sniffers, though. Well, a couple songs, but
missed you too, Pam. My flight got canceled like twice after being delayed for a whole entire day, like multiple times, over and over.
There's a lot of flight problems.
Yeah, it was killing me, and then just the whole world just crumbled around me over the weekend, and I missed out, and I had FOMO. And anyway, but I am glad I got to watch it on Fight and hang out with all the fans on Twitter, talk about the show. That was a blast. We're gonna run down 312 here on this show too.
You know what I don't understand about the flights? Shout out to Abs of Steel in the chat, but like. I was saying this to somebody when I was there, right? There was all these flights and like, well, there was some bad weather in Chicago and it did this, that, and the other. And like, I used to live in a western suburb of outside of Chicago, and I would go back to like see my father in Cleveland, right? And the weather was always terrible in both places, and nothing was ever affected. So they're like, they just build planes different now, or what? Like it was always snowing like a son of a bitch, or it was always raining like crazy. The weather's the same. They're both in the Great Lakes. It's the worst. But like, I don't know, it just feels like planes, like they delay and cancel flights more often for like bad weather than they used to. Maybe we just didn't know any better in the 80s or whatever. And they just said, go ahead and fly. Who cares?
I was going to say, you got to smoke on the plane.
No, that's true. They did smoke on the plane. I played football at school. They still taught us to leave with our helmet. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's a bad announcement. The more I talk about it, the less sense it makes now.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll give them credit that maybe they didn't feel safe, and so we'll take it.
You don't want to be John Lithgow, you know what I mean? With the brother on the side of the plane. Yeah. You've never seen the Twilight Zone movie, Gary? I'm shocked.
Yeah, there's something on the wing.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I have the Thing from Another World on right now on the TV. It's on Tubi. It's one of my favorite 1950s science gone wrong movies.
I was gonna put it in order today, and I'm still gonna do it for some. I'm gonna get some of those banners for these windows, I think, so that I can cover those up here in the stream. What's that?
I should have done it. What the hell's the matter with me? They're right down the street.
Yeah, look at that. See, that's good thinking.
Free
promotion.
It was William Shatner on the television show, but the movie version from the early '80s, it was John Lithgow. They redid that segment for the movie. She's talking about the Twilight Zone episode where it was Shatner. You know this, Gary. You're a movie guy.
Oh yeah, man. I know that very well. And I also just watched Ace Ventura, and he makes reference to that too. So that's why I was doing that. There's something on the wing.
Oh yeah. Spock. Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it was weird with no Garrison there in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like a 12 or 13-hour drive, I think, for me.
Probably because it's like 7 from Nashville. So how far are you from Nashville?
So I'm like 4 or 5 hours away from Nashville.
I mean, you got to stop and piss and get gas. So yeah, probably 13 hours. Call it.
Yeah. So, it's a big drive, but I don't know. I could have also apparently driven to like Atlanta or Charlotte to catch a flight out of there, and they would have let me, but. Then it was like they weren't going to refund the ticket right away, and then I have to get another ticket. And at that point, the tickets were like $1,200 or $1,300 or something crazy.
You didn't miss this that much, did you?
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going. I'm just gonna
watch the damn stream. Yeah.
I live literally from my airport. I live literally like 10 minutes away. So it was like, it wasn't that big a deal that I had to go back home the first time. I was like, all right, well, I'm right down the road. But then they just kept doing it. And I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm glad for everybody that had a blast. Eric there. And love you guys in the chat. Thanks for being here. Dr. Red, George St. Louis, Davian. I see you, Mike.
Outer Limits.
Driving to Winston-Salem.
Some of that's on Roku, I think, or something. I was watching it the other night, the old Outer Limits show.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's talking about it in the chat.
Hitchhike. That's a good idea, Dr. Red. I could have hitchhiked.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Let's see. Axel. Oh, yeah. So Axel's talking about the TV title, I think there. Was hoping to see the new women's TV title, but we found out on the show that Kinsey's going to have a little input in that after she picked up the victory there. So
yeah, it's going to be a belt. It's not going to stay a trophy.
Yeah. Adi, I think a Waterloo pay-per-view would be a lot of fun. That would
about 15 people who live there. I've been there. Have you ever been there?
I've never been there. I just know that's where the NWA was formed.
No,
you know,
there's more of that there. We Rudy Charles and another guy, Sean Schultz, and myself talked our way into shooting part of his, YouTube. Early days of YouTube was like 2011, into the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum, and we shot an episode in there. I forget what we told them. We acted like we had media credentials, and they let us do it.
Oh,
and,
nice.
They had some old ass ring from like 1920. It was like stiff as a board. It was cool. It was cool for sure. But they let us do it. They just looked at us like we had three heads. There's Pollo in the chat.
Oh, Pollo Del Mar. Love Pollo, and Pollo's man. If you missed out, did an amazing job at the big battle royal that happened. That thing was crazy. I got some little shots here, courtesy of Iban Huerta, who is I think he's at he_Bon on Twitter. Just some cool stuff. That was awesome. That was started as a 20-man battle royal, ended up being this huge other thing.
That was like 25 people or something. Yeah, it was more than 20 for sure.
Yeah. And Thrillbilly, getting down to Thrillbilly and Odinson there at the end, and Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, going to be taking on the national champion, which before Friday night was Scion, but as we know now, the winner of that big match was EC3. How about that? Who saw that coming? If you put your money on Scion, you were pretty disappointed there. Scion held the title for a bit, but EC3 going home with the gold.
Trey ripped the strap off him, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, it ended for poor Scion. He let his daddy down. Austin Idol. Austin was very upset. You know what else happened to Pollo?
Yeah, Pollo got flipped. I'm surprised Pollo's talking about the flip off rather than the getting sprayed.
Yeah, I thought Pollo would be blinded for life, but that's not what happened. But yeah, I thought Pollo would be more hot about the spray paint to the eyes than the flip off. But hey,
yeah. Any idea when this Saturday's TV tapings will air? Vinny, I have asked around, and I am hearing that they want to capitalize on 312 and some of the heat coming off 312, and they want to replay some stuff actually tomorrow night on NWA Power in Place while they get everything ready. Everybody just flying in. Billy Trask, who puts all those together. He just got home himself, so he's going to have a show for tomorrow. So I think they're replaying. What I've been told is tomorrow is going to be replaying the debut of Yabo the Clown versus Kratos, and they're going to replay that battle royal as well. And I think Sal versus Gags, if I'm not mistaken, is what I was told. So
Little Croutons taking on the Clown.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't like when I call him that, but he assaulted me, so I don't care what he likes. Yeah, there he is. Clown brother.
The debut of Yabo. That's what he looks like. Look at that guy.
Yeah, he just makes noises too. I don't think I heard him say any words actually.
Oh, weird. Yeah. But one thing I did want to cover, we kind of talked about it briefly there, but you took over on commentary. How'd that feel? It's been you got a little taste for it at the last tapings. You and Candy got to sit with Kyle for USA Surge, but how'd it feel being on the big show doing the commentary there?
Well, I had to carry Tim Storm, of course. I couldn't leave him out there by himself. I had to look out for my girl Velvet. She couldn't be there, so I had to come in off the bench. So couldn't leave Joe out there alone with a thug like Tim Storm, who at one point assaulted me, if you remember.
That's who we should have asked to be on here tonight. Just to bring back the commentary team.
I actually did, and he declined it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought Dealz was great on commentary. I had a lot of fun. I like the getting to talk to him here is one thing, but we hear that wonderful wit of Danny Dealz on the actual pay-per-view. I think a lot of people had fun. I saw stuff on Twitter, so apparently.
You know what? I didn't.
And Dealz says he got no credit, but I think he did.
No, I think I didn't. But I didn't say I didn't believe anybody. I just didn't see it. Somebody's like, "Well, they were putting it over on." I said, "Where?"
I know. I saw some tweets about it. Some I like Danny Dealz on commentary, and in our This Is Pro Wrestling Discord, I saw some people talking about it there too.
Is there a stream when you or is there a stream? Is there a chat when you watch the pay-per-view on a stream?
I don't know if Fight still has it anymore. Honestly, like I didn't. They used to when you watched it on the browser. There was a chat going on, and things would get rowdy in that chat. I used to watch Power on there when we were just going on Fight, and I don't know. People would get like vicious with each other and stuff, and so I was asking about it, and they cut out the chat for a while there. So I don't know if they ever did bring it back.
They're getting vicious with each other.
Roy Cap saying no chat on Fight.
Okay.
And Poyo saying they took it down because it was
too obnoxious. I was pretty sure there was one at one point, but
yeah, there definitely was. I used to be in it, but I would tell them, like just in our connections with Fight, I'd be like, man, you guys gotta let some mods in that chat or something. It gets it's like towing the line here of like
if you don't
hateful.
It gets and like during the pandemic, I watched, of course, one of my favorite football games of all time, Super Bowl 43, when the Steelers win at the end and all that. But like, there are people in the chat, and this is clearly, there are multiple things telling you that this is like January of 2009. But there's like people in the chat like, where's Antonio Brown? And, like current players. And like, you can even tell by just the production of it. You know what I mean? The way it looks, like clearly this wasn't shot recently. You know what I mean? So those chats, if there's nobody in there, and NWA ran a couple events, like replayed events during that time, like they replayed 70, and people were like, why is Sammy Guevara on here? Is it Forbidden Door? And it's like, it's from 3 years ago. Then they're all at each other's throats and,
Yeah, I was watching, I remember I was in some bar one time. It was like before the Super Bowl, like right before the Super Bowl or something. I think it was before we taped or whatever. And there were shit like replaying an old playoff game or something. And somebody was like watching it and complaining about it. Like, why are they doing this? Oh, you got money on this one? Like, I was thinking about putting down some money. I'm like, dude, this is like a year old.
Yeah. It was like NFL Network or something. And they replay stuff. And there's NFL marks like me who will watch that stuff. And but I already know what's going to happen, but like, I'll just watch it anyway. But I have been asked before by somebody who went, do you think, they're like, do you think the outcome is going to be different, or do you think it's going to be different because you're watching it again or something?
Right.
I said, no, I like to watch it. What do you want? All the time. There's a great YouTube channel called Yinsberg on here that replays all kinds of old highlights and games and stuff. I'll watch them all the time. Giant mark for it.
Some people know I do a movie podcast, and I was watching a commentary the other day for a movie we were researching, but the commentary was with Shane Black, who's a writer,
Predator.
Yeah. And and he was in the original Predator, and
wrote
he was talking about being on the set of a movie, on like a movie he directed. He wouldn't give names or anything, but he said he was in there and the studio was watching it with him, and he said they had the trailer that they put together for the movie, and apparently the camera comes in behind this girl, and you see like the back of her head, and it's like the way the camera zooms in. Anyway, he says they screened it for a few people, and people were like, well, which girl is that? Is it this girl or is it this girl? They were like these two different actresses or whatever, and they got confused. So he was saying he was sitting in there with the studio execs watching it, and he leans over and he says, hey, just by the way, this this scene was a little confusing for people, like where it pans in and they can't tell if it's this girl or this girl. So we'll probably just cut that out. And they're like, well, why don't you just like, there's no need to cut. Just, why don't you just turn the camera around? Like, just like, they're like, just flip the film or something like that. He's like, what?
Especially at that time, you weren't able to do that yet really until like the 2000s, and it's got to be shot digital. And we don't have to get into all that here, but
yeah.
and
this was like just straight film, and he was like, "Oh, you just want me to like flip the film over and see your face instead,
buddy."
Okay. But,
oh, you know what though? Speaking, because I was about to say, 6 Degrees Kevin Bacon. I do believe I have some new stuff available at the shop. Did I send you any pictures?
Yeah, you did. Did I upload them? That's a better question.
I
have them. Hold on. Let me.
You got to show the peoples the new stuff. And there's some vintage things as well.
No, you did great, and you did send them. And it looks like I didn't upload them yet, but it'll take me all of 2 seconds. I'm going to get them uploaded.
While you do that, I'll also explain that I went searching through the archives in Chicago, and I found some more stock of the original Globe tee, the white and yellow one that everybody likes. So now I just don't have small. I now have medium. I have large. I have 3X, maybe 2X. I can't remember. I also found some of the thin zip T-shirt style hoods. I found an XL. There's some 2Xs. There's some other stuff. And I found some more of those heavy duty, waterproof, the giant sling bags. And it's still at the sale price that I put on there when I thought that only 3 existed, but I didn't change the sale price. So whatever. And then I found some more of the DVD of Power Season 1, which apparently is very popular because I put up 16 copies and there's 2. So 15 of them went like that today. Also, did you get the pictures up?
Sorry.
Coming?
I'm so sorry I let you down, dude.
I thought you were going to have it. We're going to go, and also.
No, we're about to. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I feel like such a
and also, I'll just keep saying that till you get it. And also, aloha.
There's not gonna do it fancy. We're just gonna throw them up here. Do the
doesn't even have to be just.
No, you know what it was is I do have to. We're gonna have to come back to it, Dealz.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to screw it. The file format for some reason that comes from an iPhone, it doesn't match what StreamYard will allow me to put up. So I have to.
Well, I'll just tell them too.
Somewhere.
I added some signed turnbuckles. Right, those are up. I added, against my better judgment, some Medusa books are there. Right. And she left a copy after the signing, and I picked it up, and on the inside it says, "Dealz, you're not the man, Medusa." It was very rude, but I kept it. I'm going to sell it on eBay. And I also have what's happening here.
I was going to throw it up on the screen here.
Oh, okay.
Look at this.
Oh, so that's a lot of the new stuff. You see the banners. There's the tank top. There's the purple variant. There's the new banners. Now, if you go towards the bottom, you'll you may not see, but the turnbuckle is only in featured item. Remember these little slots? There's a Medusa book. There's a signed poster. There's an unsigned poster. And also some of the pay-per-view shirts I've made available as well.
These are all
look like the Cub shirts.
Items?
That's in featured items. Yes, you go to featured, right? You should be able to anyway. It should be a drop-down menu. It says featured items.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And then you go to the bottom and see that there's a pay-per-view shirt.
Look at
right?
that.
Kind of looks like a Cub shirt, right?
I like that.
And I made a couple of those available. And then there's the signed turnbuckle, which that one right there, shout out to Pollo, because the Deal Man got drafted to commentate the entire season. So I couldn't be down there. And so I set him down on the table and said, "Can you make sure that happens?" And Pollo, people would come by and she'd go, "Hey, you get over here, sign these." And so everybody would go and sign.
That sounds like her.
Yeah, we just need to. Pollo needs to be the new. Hey, I need the sign to make sure it happens.
I like that. So yeah, over at nationalwrestlingalliance.com/shop, you can get all this stuff. And I agree that 312 shirt's awesome. I love that. and people are looking forward to that. So we made that work. I don't know why I don't just do that every time and just pull up the
for
website.
whatever reason, and I don't know why. The pay-per-view shirt and the turnbuckle only show up in featured items. There's like a glitch, and I got to like redo it. But I don't know what it is. But if that's what you're looking for, you got to go to that section for some reason. So
when will you have the Crockett Cup 2023 shirts up?
Probably closer to Crockett Cup 2023. I just today got an email with somebody telling me their size from the people that Crockett Cup 2022 in March. When there was a thing, and it's like, do this, you get a shirt. They just now answered. They're like, oh, XL. I was like, well, I hope I have that. So I'm going to try to make sure I have it. But like over a year later, I was like,
that is nuts.
But anyway, violence, what is this? Violence is Forever and Tate Twins get added to the tournament. Oh, Violence is Forever and the Tate Twins were in last year's tournament. Do you recall, Gary?
Yeah, I do remember that. And for those that missed the announcement on the show, some of the big news coming out of 312 is that the Crockett Cup returns June 3rd and 4th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's all the details we have right now, but that is coming up soon. So you want to be there for that. Get ready. Those tickets are going to go on sale at NWATix.com. Dealz, you reached out to some people. And speaking of the Crockett Cup, I guess that was great timing. We actually have somebody who's very likely going to be there, it seems like. If I had to guess, look at that. Vic Delicious is here from the Now. Hey, welcome, sir.
What's going on?
Hey, and wearing the new pay-per-view shirt. Look at that. And right after I put it over, this is what I'm talking about. Some people know how to work, and some people just do moves, right? And old Victor Delicio
got some shirts, bro.
I'm telling you, who recently returned at the pay-per-view in Battle Royal with Hail Fabian Valenzuela. You can call him Hail Collins for short. But you guys are going to have, I believe, a qualifier coming up because you want to get back in the Crockett Cup. You were in it last year.
Yes, sir.
And ran into the Briscoes, which is they're hard out, right? So no shame there,
Too soon, Tony. Too soon.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, it was tough for you to get past them. I mean,
having a qualifying match is perfect because it gives everybody a chance to get reacquainted with Hale and myself, and it's a fresh opportunity for us to show what we have been preparing for this Crockett Cup. So, if you follow my social media and everything, I began talking about the Crockett Cup before this year. It was about the end of last year. I started sending out some tweets about it and some different things because this is something we've been thinking about since the 1, 2, 3 happened last year. So, we came in last year as a late round ad. We were the last team announced, and the present for that was that we got to wrestle the Briscoe brothers in the very first round. And Briscoe brothers went on to win the Crockett Cup last year and in dominating fashion. And there is zero opportunity for us to rectify that loss. So the next best thing is to win the Crockett Cup and stake our claim as the best tag team right now in entire professional wrestling. And doing that is with the Crockett Cup. And we plan to make a statement, and we plan on using the Crockett Cup as a pedestal to launch us into the next stratosphere.
It's almost like you've thought about this a little bit. Gary, do you have any questions?
Well, actually, he brought up something I was going to bring up, and it's kind of a weird question, I guess, but it's given the circumstances of everything that have gone on with, the Briscoes, and the unfortunate loss of Jay Briscoe. I mean, does that, when you see something like that happen, does that cause you to take a step back and reflect, like just that you mentioned fortunate enough to get to wrestle them in the first round? That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it would be really impossible to not be reflective when something like that comes across your consciousness. And the way that I've really come to terms with a lot of things in this life is that the universe works in its own ways, and there are reasons for everything, and nothing is by accident. And to have the opportunity to share the ring with the Briscoe brothers in the NWA, in the Crockett Cup last year, what they did for us in that match can never be something we could ever say thank you for. They treated us as equals when they had every opportunity to not do that. And for that, they get my forever respect and forever my love. I certainly wish we had another opportunity to grace the ring with them. However, I'm very grateful that we had that opportunity that we did, because, you know, life is very fleeting and you don't know what exactly could happen and you don't know who could come and go. And you make the most of every opportunity that you get. And the best thing about being in the now is that there can be no opportunity wasted.
I like that. I like the way that sounds. And you get to always have the backup that you lost to the winners of the Crockett Cup. So, you know, there's always that to fall back on if anybody ever tries to give you crap about it.
Well, you know, surprisingly, I mean, or maybe not surprisingly, we haven't gotten a tremendous amount of crap for it. It was hey, you know, if you're going to lose to somebody, losing to the guys who go on to win the thing, it's certainly, that's another notch in your belt. And our body of work that we've put together in the NWA in the last 365 days is something I am very proud of. Even having a little gap there where we weren't necessarily there all the time, I'm very proud of what we've put together and the name that we've built for ourselves, and the fact that we're coming into the Crockett Cup this year, being able to qualify for it, being able to make a statement and an impact for that match, and then being one of the teams that's actually featured there. It would be a mistake for anybody to think that we don't have a shot at walking home with that cup. It is something I have literally been focusing on and training for an entire year. I will not be embarrassed, and I will not walk out of there without that cup.
Yeah, it's not like you lost to Archie Reynolds and Jose Luis Rivera, but but however, you still do have to do a qualifier to get in. So I'm sure you're getting focused on that. You don't know who it'll be. I don't know who it'll be. It could be anybody.
Nope. But I promise it'll be physical, and I promise that they better bring their working shoes and a lunch, because it is not going to be something that's going to be a walk in the park for them.
Boy, listen. Boy, look here.
I know. I love it. I love the sound of that. I was happy, like the last tapings you guys were out. I got to walk around and see you guys from like right outside the ring, like with the fans sitting around the ring and everything. And I love watching you guys do your thing. It's really cool. So I think I even sent you guys both a message saying I was personally glad to see you guys come back.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the NWA fans are happy to have the now back.
Well,
I don't think
our Northeast brother content was getting low, so we had to bring a few back. You know, we only had the shady Northeast brother Kevin Keenan. You know, so you got to bring a few more. You know,
we've had since the time that we were last on your television screens was about late September of last year, and since then, we had a lot of personal things actually go on, and some things that have taken a lot of hard work to come back from, and a lot of mountains to climb, like, go on in this business. So I had an injury that was bad. It got real bad out of nowhere. Hale had a unfortunate loss of a family member that was, real personal, and something that it's hard to stay focused and come back from different things, like, personal real life situations. And we've been in this business for a very long time, and it's important to us to continue pushing with this opportunity and with the NWA, because we had every opportunity to just kind of fold it up and walk away and say, hey, you gave it a shot. You guys gave it your best shot, but, just not for you. And I'm not prepared to accept that as the end of this story. So, get knocked down 7, get up 8 kind of thing. And we have overcome, and we've overcome, and we've persevered, and we've overcome. And promise you, we are grateful, but we are hungry.
Vic, how long have you been doing this altogether?
21 years. I started wrestling in late 2001. I had my first WWE dark match in January of 2003. I got signed to OVW shortly after that, and I was in the developmental system for 2.5 years. I did a little bit in Deep South, and then right around 2007, Hale and I started teaming up, and we've been a team since 2007.
I was going to say it had to be about 20 because I've known you for about 15 of it.
Yeah, man.
Something like that.
Well,
Doing all them Deep South shows. Not Deep South wrestling, but in the South.
I can't believe you've known Danny Dealz that long and you've kept your sanity. That's weird.
What are you talking about? Huh? No. We used to team up. No, it's
an example of people in wrestling that you end up becoming close and tight with people, and you never know where you're going to see them again, or where that friendship is going to end up being something that brings you guys all back together again. And Dealz, being in a position to actually know who we are is something that's worked out well for us, because there's a lot of people who they could have said, we don't know those guys. We don't know those guys. But Dealz validated us. Dealz knew who we were and saw all the work that we put in. And he's been a part of our journey. Like, that guy right there is one of our brothers. So, we've been close, and the NWA for me is like, I mean this in the most positive and the best way possible, is that it's the island of misfit toys. And it
is.
People that I was in Ohio Valley Wrestling with in 2003, all the way through my entire wrestling, people that I've crossed paths with that were talented and all the ability in the world, and incredible on the microphone, and incredible athletes. And for one reason or another, there wasn't a opportunity on the big stage for very long or at all. And Billy Corgan and the NWA has given a lot of us who've been doing this for a very long time and have been doing it for the absolute love of it. We do this because we love this. I don't do this because it makes me rich in any way. I do this literally because I love it. And if I don't do it, I go crazy. That's why we do this. We are the island of misfit toys, and the NWA locker room is the coolest locker room I've been a part of. Everybody is, and I mean this, helpful, friendly. Everybody wants to see everybody else succeed, and everybody is there to absolutely put on the best show possible. And I've never once seen a lack of professionalism. I've never seen a lack of preparedness. Like, the NWA has been the utmost professional organization this entire time. And to have all of these guys that have been in this business with all this knowledge and all this experience and veterans to come together in one place to share it with young guys and bring newer guys along with us. And it's really cool, man. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of people who even can dive into the history of some of the people in the locker room, who we all are and how we all know each other, but it's pretty cool and it's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah. I think fans perceive wrestling to be very large, and it's actually very small at the same time. And there's somebody in wrestling. I broke in like 06 or somewhere in there, and there is in the NWA, from whether it's production or talent or whatever, there's somebody from every part of my career, or whatever you want to call it, from the lowest to low independence to TNA to Aero Lucha to when I was doing Darks or Ring of Honor or whatever. Like, at every level, I know somebody from. I've known Velvet for 12 years. Yep. You know what I mean? She's actually one of the people I know the best that's there.
We met Velvet in Connecticut in 2007. She was
Talia Madison.
Met us.
Yeah, right. So it's big, but at the same time, it's kind of everybody crosses paths, and even in Chicago, like when we were in Chicago's where I met Werewolf Brother Mecca in like 2009. You know what I mean? Doing Chicago style for Steve Boz, who of course I invited to the show, and he came. I don't know if you saw him there, Vic. Did you see Bozzy?
I did.
Yeah, he was there. Now he was hanging. He had a suit on. He kind of looked like security. He looked like he should have had earpiece in, hanging out with Ronnie Lang.
I had guys, so that's why I didn't see him.
Slicked hair, had the Dracula look going. It looked good, still in shape. Brother's been doing it like 30 years or whatever. Still looks like he could go. I'm sure he can. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Gary, Vic and Hale and I actually once made an entrance into a match on top of a tank. Or was it a tank, or was it like an Army Hummer or whatever? Remember the Army guy drove it? The Armory?
Yep. That was pretty.
Remember that? He's like, at first he was one of the guys who he had to watch the Armory, and he was pissed they had to do it for this. And then by the time our match came, he's like, "Can I drive you guys to the ring?" And we're like, "Sure."
But, you know, like one of those things that we were just talking about, the crossovers, and I'm thinking about it as we're talking, but my debut match in W was against Elijah Burke. And what's funny about that match is that it was actually, for me, that's how I graduated college, is that I was going to school at the same time that I was wrestling in OVW. And part of my final exam was to develop a wrestling persona that would debut on television. So Jim Cornette actually came with me to my college and met with my college advisor and professor, and we all put together a plan for how I would work with Jim to develop the Vic Delicious character. And then my final exam would be when I debuted on television as Vic Delicious. So, and that was against Elijah. And, you know, he's another guy who's right there in the NWA locker room. You know, it's pretty crazy, all these crossovers, man. Like it's nuts, and it's really cool to see everybody still get that opportunity in a place that actually values and appreciates their guys too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's weird. I'm new to wrestling. Like I was never in the wrestling locker room until the NWA, and so it's been kind of neat to me to see the crossover people talk about, or just the people you don't think know each other that happen to know each other because of something they did like a couple of years ago, and like, oh yeah, I used to work with this brother back here, and all that stuff. So
yeah.
It's kind of neat, like the camaraderie that happens in professional wrestling in that way.
Vic, I got a concussion in that match, by the way. Did we win it or did we lose?
We lost.
We did. It was fans with weapons.
I still have a scar on my hand
from the symbol.
Yeah,
Brothers do a symbol.
You're like a frisbee, man. Like me in half, and I put my arm down.
Hale took Tyler's ear off almost. Remember with the he did the sky high elbow on the chairs, and then we super glued his ear because it was hanging. Because we told him he couldn't go to the bar with us, he had to go to the hospital, and he super glued his ear so he could go to the bar afterwards.
Good God.
Big Rib was on that show. I actually did. I had like one of those midget ladders. Can I say midget ladders or little?
Yes, you've done it now.
Little ladders, and I did a corkscrew senton while holding the ladder, and like did it so I landed on it. And literally, like a few weeks later, Morrison did it on WrestleMania. And I'm
sure
like,
did. We were talking about.
Like, God damn, that's the end of that. Like
he had the camera
for
that. Yeah. Vic used to forever do them corkscrews because he's like, one time he goes, "How do you view us?" And I was like, "Well, Hale's Brett and you're Neidhart." And he goes, "And that's why I'll never not do the corkscrew." I can move.
Awesome.
How is it compared to, like, I'm just curious too, because a lot of people, if you didn't tune into 312, what are you waiting for? It's available on Fight right now. You can go watch that up.
Apparently the
replay made their big return. What's that?
I heard that replay works better than the original stream, according to somebody.
I hope so.
Yeah.
The Now made their big return in a what do we determine? 25 man is what it ended up being.
It was
like
a lot.
Battle Royal,
more than 20,
something like that.
Yeah.
What's it like working at a Battle Royal? I'm just curious for you as a tag team guy, and you go in there and your partner's there, but he's not there. Like it's or not there always. I guess it's probably tough to stick together.
Well, yeah, I guess a little peek behind the curtain. We our plan was to stick together, and like number one, we had a hellacious travel day on pay-per-view day. So I left my house in New York at 3:30 in the morning, and we didn't get to the pay-per-view until 8 p.m. So we literally.
This is what happened to me, but I just didn't make it. But
is that why you weren't there? I was literally
my flight got canceled like 2 or 3 times. So I just
5 a.m.
Yeah, dude, they canceled our flight because, and they said this with a straight face. The 2 seats we had for you guys, me and Hal, the seats are broken, so you can't be on that flight. And I was like, well, how'd you know they were our seats? And like, to which nobody could give me an answer. It was awesome. Then they sent us to Charlotte, which was literally like in the middle of thunderstorms, which, you know, you really want that to happen. And then there was days and all that, but we met Vanilla Ice in the airport, which was super random.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that post. Hale posted a picture with him. I did see that go by.
Yeah, man, that was super weird. But you know, getting to the Battle Royal, we kind of just showed up there, and it was like, get your boots on, and you're in there. Like, okay,
basically, yeah.
Yeah. So our strategy was to stick together as much as possible. There's a bunch of guys in that Battle Royal that, number one, we've never wrestled, and number two, we may never get a chance to wrestle. So if you go back and watch it, you'll see like I'll randomly go over and punch Homicide in the face just because I'm a chance to do that again. So
it's also the best chance to hit and run too, because he may not see you. You know, so many people, and you can
bounce real quick. I found out that Rolando has the hardest head in professional wrestling. Brother headbutted me, split me open within the first like couple minutes.
Did. Wow. He did. Vic was out there building the territory.
Red equals green, right?
Mm-hmm. And he said it.
You know, you gotta the simple rules of the battle royal. If you find yourself on the ground,
get up.
You're in a bad situation.
Get up.
Ground of the battle royal, and you don't want to get yourself caught in a situation where you're vulnerable to somebody just tossing you out, because guys tend to think that's actually funny to just like kind of just toss. I would say probably the biggest thing, and another is like somebody gets too chop happy. If they start chopping you when you're in a battle royal, then I hope they're ready to get chopped back. It's kind of the way that works. You don't throw too many chops in there. It's just kind of like etiquette, I guess, for a battle royal. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you try to stay on your feet. You try to get leverage over people, and having a partner in there until you get down to the nitty gritty is kind of what the strategy was. Unfortunately for us, we ran into two brick walls known as the fixers.
Yeah.
So
Legursky.
A little bit of drag, being a little bit tired and being smushed by Legursky spells a early evening for the now.
And I've heard that from Danny Dealz's. I've heard that from Danny Dealz's IB boys too.
Oh yeah,
they've been squashed by Legursky too.
Yeah, he's a Northeast brother. Didn't he realize what he was doing to his own countrymen? You want to stay on your feet, and Gary, you know, even though the Deal Machine is a wonderful manager and agent to the stars, when you first break in, nobody gives a shit, and so you find yourself in battle royals, as I did. And you remember
respectfully,
the boss,
I don't think I'll ever be in a battle royal. So it's not.
You remember the boss.
I appreciate the strategy, but
and that happened to me. I hit the mat, and he kicked me. He kicked me hard, but he dubbed me in the back of the head. He goes, "Stay on your feet, dumbass." And
that does sound. I see like Eric in the chat talking about it. He said, "I swear I thought they were going to break the ring. So much beef in there." It's just, I don't imagine being on the ground would be where you'd want to be.
Nah, but Legursky in there either.
And it was the ringside real tight there too. So, you know, fans it was almost like they were in the ring for the battle royal.
It was close. Yeah, it was tight.
When I got tossed over, I actually landed right on the cameraman.
Our poor camera brothers. They got hit a few times during the course of that tape.
There.
Yeah.
Isn't that where they say don't hit out of all places? Try not to hit the camera people.
Well, I mean, you know. You know, nobody's a Jedi. You know, you can't levitate him. Brother throws you over when you get, you know. I mean, you get hazard pay if you're a camera guy. I hope. You know?
You don't go and like punch him in the face, but
yeah. That makes sense.
No,
I remember that was even that came with like I think the Briscoes broke one of the cameras on one of the shows or something like that, or at least the stand or something. I remember that one of them flipping out of the ring.
It wasn't on purpose.
No, I didn't say on purpose. It wasn't like they were just going out there trying.
They also weren't the first, and they won't be the last. I'm not saying anybody tries, and just sometimes things happen.
Vic, you get into the Crockett Cup. You're in the tournament. Is there a team right now you hope you're across from that you still haven't had a chance to go up against that you'd like to?
Well, we had a taste of. I mean, that's a hard question because there's two teams that I specifically have my eyes on, and they're the two teams that are champions in the NWA. So the Country Gentlemen are the team that we had a chance to be in there with when we first entered the NWA, and that towards the beginning of their partnership. And I feel like through the match that we had and the homework I've done on them, that you know we could have their number and the United States titles, which would be something I'd be into. But in the Crockett Cup, I'm not sure where the champions stand as far as their admittance. So La Rebellion is also a team that I have paid lots of attention to and followed for a very long time. you can't deny their run as the NWA World Tag Team Champions. You can't deny the fact that even when they've been defeated, they recoil and come back even better than they did when they had them before. So I'm certainly anxious to get in there with the best, and I'm certainly anxious to test our skills against those teams. But we have been doing this for a time that is unmatched as a team right now in professional wrestling, and we bring something to the table right now as far as our teamwork that very few teams can get, because it's not something that can be manufactured. Like I said, we've been doing this as a team for over 15 years. We've known each other. Hale and I went to high school together. We've known each other since we were kids. We're as close as brothers could possibly be without being brothers. And we have a goal that before our careers are all said and done, we are going to be the world tag team champions. And I've said it before, and I've said it many times in other places. The Crockett Cup is another stepping stone to that goal, and it's not something we take lightly, and it's not something we're saying just to try to get it some kind of a reaction. We feel that we are world tag team champion material, and we feel that we are in a position to prove it, and I welcome anybody that would like us to prove it to them. And when it's all said and done, we will be across from the Country Gentlemen for their belts if they're the ones that are champions. We'll be across from La Rebellion if they're the champions, or if there's somebody else that happens to climb that mountaintop and get there. There's a lot of teams that are just finding their groove right now.
Magnum Muscle, right?
It's just exactly who I was going to say. Two guys that have had a singles career that have been rocking and rolling singles, and they get thrown together as a team. And, it takes a little while to gel. It takes a little while to find timing. It takes a little while to know your partner's body language and get some moves that you feel comfortable doing together and all that stuff. It's not something that just comes super easy. And, Magnum Muscle is coming along quickly. It's not something that's lost on us. So, if they're two guys that we're going to be across from, I've been watching, I've been paying attention, and we're ready for you. So there's nothing that I feel that we're unprepared for, and I'm just anxious to get it going. Let's get us in there with the best. I'm not afraid of anything or anybody, especially competition. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Frankie Williams couldn't have said that better.
I liked this. I was running down as soon as I saw the Crockett Cup thing. I was like, all right, who do we have? Who do we gotta have in there? You guys were right there at the top of the list. Obviously, I thought of La Rebellion, Country Gentlemen, those guys. I mean, La Rebellion did enter it last year as the champions, so it's definitely possible.
Well, they were the one seed because they were the champs.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible there. There's the Spectaculars are out there. One team, though, that I kept thinking of that I liked and I saw at 312 is Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox. Those two guys look tough.
A lot of meat right there, Daddy.
Dude, Trevor Murdoch's a tag team specialist, former world tag team champion in WWE several times over. Mike Knox has had a career where he's been champion in different places. Those guys.
It's an old Deep South brother.
Holy shit. That's a team. That's a team. And Trevor brings a lot of experience in tag team wrestling to the table. That whole idea that I just explained about two singles guys getting thrown together, it goes a little bit out the window when they're veterans, because the thing about studying body language and timing, it all comes a lot easier doing this for a really long time. And putting those two guys together is dangerous, and it's definitely worth paying attention to.
And you would think they would know each other pretty well, because they've battled during Trevor Murdoch's world title reign. Mike Knox challenged him a couple of times, and so those two have fought, and now they're teaming up. So it's anyway, I like Crib Relay here. Murdoch and Knox, sponsored by Truck Stops of America.
There could be some wild cards too, because last year we had Rip City Brothers came in from Cleveland, Violence Brothers.
Design.
Yeah. Violence is Forever.
Oh, Violence is Forever. Why did I say Violence?
Yeah. And there is a Violent by Design, but they're two different. Right, you're right.
Gotcha.
And now we're new at the time to the NWA, not to the business. And there was a few wild cards in there. Tate Twins, Commonwealth connection. So I'm sure there's going to be more wild cards this year too. There, Garrison.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the Carolinas, man. You got to think there's plenty of teams out there.
Could see the Heat Seekers again. That was my dog.
Just thought Dealz ripped one right there. I don't know.
No, that's Bubby. Hey, buddy. But yeah, the Heat Seekers could be in there again. You never know. AKA Sigmund and the Sea Monster.
Yep.
Sigmund, another one that Victor and I have known for an eternity.
You feel good, Vic, from the tapings? I mean, we won't ask you to spoil anything that happened. We haven't seen any of it. I don't think it starts airing until after this week, any of the taping stuff. But did you have a good time there? Feel good about stuff?
Very good. And it's definitely, from what I've seen from the NWA tapings and the last ones that I've been a part of and everything, it's been kicked up a notch. And the thing that made these tapings better, or I won't say better, but much more different, is the fact that the crowd was extremely lively, extremely into it, and extremely hungry for good professional wrestling. You know, there was, I won't give the number out, but the fans were there for quite a few professional wrestling matches that day. I honestly tell you, because we were there all the way till the end, that at the end of the night, the fans were just as into it as they were at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that is saying something to keep the audience engaged, keep them lively, to keep them interested, to keep them coming back in between like tapings, all of that stuff, man. Like, it makes a big difference to the wrestlers, and it makes a big difference to the company. Having the crowd be that into it, that pumped up, that engaged, it's awesome. It makes it so much more fun. It makes it so much more worth it. The reason that those tapings were happening as a benefit for that community, it's also like, you can't go and say enough good things about that and what the NWA has done, what Billy Corgan has done for that area. And, you know, I can only hope that when we do TV tapings next time, that we have the same crowd, that they're hungry. Like, just the line to get into Studio One, man, they were like, everybody's talking wrestling and excited to get in there. Like, I just walked through it real quick and it was awesome. And that's my biggest takeaway. Yeah, like, the performances and everything went on. Like, there's going to be some stories that unfold over the next few weeks that are going to be awesome, stuff you probably won't see coming. But the fans made it worth it, and the fans made it awesome. And I want to say thank you to them if they're listening. And it's something you guys should all take notice of as you're watching the next season of shows unfold, is notice the crowd and what they do for those tapings and for the shows and what a difference it makes.
Oh yeah, I think as a fan coming in, like when I would go to shows, like, I want to be loud. Like, I get excited. I invest fully in it because I want to be
for my dismemberment once, Gary. I was told recently that you started the "one more time" chant for Tim Storm to give me not one but two Eye of the Storm.
I don't know if that's true.
I was told that recently by people who were present.
You mean Timmy Thunder?
Timmy Thunder. That's right.
Oh my God, I heard so much crap about that. We would go. So I started going to the Atlanta tapings, and I would be there. My voice would be dead for like a week afterwards. I would go to those tapings, and when I got brought back stage to like do some stuff or whatever, I remember like the first day I was back there, Tom Latimer like came out, and he was just like, "You got to go sit back out there." He's like, "We need you back out there." He's like
"Get out of the way, you eat." Yeah, right.
The heart, brother.
But no, that's I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear the crowd was lively. No knock on the Nashville crowd, but I think the last tapings, they were a little quiet during some of the first day. The tapings on that first day were a little lower than I like to. I was like, come on, guys, come on. Let's
Every time I've been to Chicago, whether for indie or a major, they're always crazy. It's like New York. Like, I don't care. The three of us could have a match in the Manhattan Center. Those people would be batshit. Like, it's just certain places. It is what it is.
Yep. I think it makes everything better when the crowd's there.
100%.
It makes the excitement even more so, like watching 100%. It on TV. You know,
I want to see cool stuff. You know what? When you're crazy and loud, cool stuff all of a sudden happens. Somebody's like, you know what? I am going to jump off that big ass thing over there.
Yeah, man. The adrenaline rush.
It does. 100% does. Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, Vic,
show from now.
Huh? Where
does Gary watch the show from now?
Well, this time I watched it on Fight is where I watched it. But no. I get to, just with some of the social stuff and everything, I get to go backstage now. So I watch it on the monitor with the boys. So
sometimes he's out there too. He's doing social media stuff too. So a lot of times he's the one. If you walk in the back, he might put it right in your face and go, "What do you think about what just happened? Holy Christ!"
Direct quote. I think.
Tapings and stuff, and I was asking for him this time, and no one had a real answer for him. At least nobody that knew anything. So But the commenters came on the screen that said that the fans said they miss you having been in the crowd with them. So
oh yeah, this one, yeah. Yeah, well, Pam, Polka Dot Pam, she's at every show. She's been at all the shows I used to go to. I used to sit over with them. They were some of the first people I met. And
that's cool.
So, yeah, it's been cool. But been fortunate enough to get to work with the NWA now. I don't get to – there's like a trade-off there. You know, you get to watch it, but just not in the same way you used to watch it. So it's it's fun. It was fun this time. I gotta say, watching it, it was cool to see it on Fight, like display it on TV, like to see how everything.
You can just say that you enjoyed it because I was on it, Gary, talking the whole time. That's
that was it. That was mainly it. I was just it was like doing this show every week. It was just like, oh, I get him twice this week now. It was just like for like 3 hours of listening to him ramble. So it's good.
The Dealz commentary can't beat it.
No. I was happy for him. I've told him that. I was like, man, that's good. I'm glad you got a shot out there, and it added some levity to.
Forgot everything I said, other than
Thunder. And
although I said it 4 or 5 times, and he finally went. He goes, "Who's Timmy Thunder?" I said, "You. Who the hell else is out here? What is it? What are we talking about?"
Vic, I appreciate you hanging out with us. We won't keep you forever. We're just coming and just chilling with us. It was just me and Dealz. Everybody else is off to Australia. Kyle Davis and Joe Galli, so they're packing up and all that stuff.
Yeah, I heard there was a slim house tonight, so it was a good opportunity to come in and say hi to everybody. I love this opportunity. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me because getting to just talk back and forth with NWA fans and letting them get a little more familiar with Hale and I is invaluable to me. So, NWA is pretty cool because you get to see wrestlers from all over the country and all over the world, really. And you get this thing right here where you get to actually meet some guys and get some of the inside stories and get a little bit of behind the scenes without ruining your experience as a fan. And these kinds of things are really cool. And the fact that you guys put so much effort in and promoting and you give your personal time to do this, it's a thankless job. So thank you both for what you do here. It's pretty cool too.
Better here than Twitter. I've seen you. I see you out there. You'll take the bait sometimes. It's hard for me too. Like I've seen you get into it
on top on that gimmick, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, well you're talking about through the trademark story.
I'm just talking about
yeah. That's what I was thinking of. I didn't know if you'd want to mention it, but I saw you going back and forth with some people about that.
Well, we could talk about it a little bit. We're not. They don't want us to talk about too much of it, but
I wouldn't. But I saw people too who are just like, "Oh, you're stupid." It doesn't matter. I own it.
Yeah. Like the thing that people were the most upsetting thing is someone would be like, "You just want the money," and it's like, what? Where'd that come from? Like, it has nothing to do with the money. Copyrighted and trademark something because it's your idea, it's your intellectual property, and if you came up with it. Something that you've been using, you've been traveling around and doing this idea that you've had for the better part of 15 years, and you've copyrighted and trademarked, you've done everything that you're supposed to do. Why should somebody else just be able to use it? It doesn't make any sense. Like, they shouldn't be able to use it unless A, we sold it to them, then they would have the rights to the idea, or the now would be on WWE television.
Right.
And myself, I mean, that would be the ways that you could use that idea. Otherwise, the United States government has this thing called trademarks. And
for a reason. If you did it, they'd come after you. If it was the reverse.
I was about to say, if the roles were reversed, it would go the other way.
So the crazy thing is that when you're right and you actually like prove a point and like you may notice that a certain person's not referring to himself that way anymore, they don't want you to gloat about it. They don't want you to make a big deal about it.
No, and you don't have to.
We'll stop. It's fine.
Yeah.
And my personality doesn't necessarily lend me to keeping my mouth shut too much, but I'm happy for the fact that what seemed like something that was a cloudy situation is much more clear.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And they're not trying to battle that. I mean, it's not necessary. They probably said, "Dude, come up with something else. Just leave it."
Yeah, it worked out because a company was trying to buy that company, and it became a $21 billion entity, and a certain amount of bad press isn't something they necessarily wanted. So
yeah, no matter how big, right?
So,
Yeah, no. It's just I was talking about the fan, some quote unquote fan response to you on there. I don't want to talk about the incident, but yeah, I remember when you trademarked it too. It was a long time ago, and I know why you did. We don't have to get into that either, but you were early on that because a lot of things would happen where there were people who worked in major companies who would watch everything that they could that people would upload to YouTube, and there's a few things that have happened to things that I was associated to, and then you would see it on television. You're like, they saw that. There's no way. It's almost to the T. But what can you do? You just go, well, I got to move on. It's not like and sometimes it would be something that you could copyright. You know what I mean? You just go, well, I guess it was a good idea. Now I got to find something else or whatever.
Yeah.
And so people have to understand sometimes that you're an artist and you do, it's just like when I played music, everybody hated bootleggers. Even punk people like me didn't really care for them too much. It's annoying. Because it's not your packaging, and all that kind of shit. And the bootleggers sometimes would make more money off your stuff than you did. Yeah. I probably made $100 total in like 10 years of playing music. It was worse than any wrestling, but
well, the fact is that it just wasn't about the money, and people were coming at it.
100% not.
I'm willing to keep my mouth shut for a certain amount of time, and there's a lot of things I let really just roll off my back. Social media isn't necessarily something that you want to just like voice your actual opinion on. However, when someone starts telling you that you're only doing it for the money, when it's literally the last thing that you're doing it for, I can't just let that be something that is out there. And like, I didn't get as detailed as I wanted to with my answers, but it wasn't about that. It was more the principle of it. And what was crazy is that through that time, as we were doing shows, a lot of the guys would come up to me and like it was as if we were fighting the good fight for them, for everybody. And like not everybody necessarily wanted to acknowledge that on social media, but there were a lot of guys who were just like, like, yeah, go get them. Like, if you've already made us think about it. Like, I hope you win. Like, it's for every independent wrestler and every performer out there that has a good idea and could have it stolen from them. And there's now that's not going to happen. So
yeah, because once it shows up on national television, it's not yours anymore unless you own it.
Yeah, and that's guys have done that in wrestling for years, and it's usually moves. Like, if I got it on TV first, it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like, well, I'm not going to trademark my moss covered free-handled family credenza, but the other stuff, like intellectual property and ideas and stuff like that. If you're going to invest your time and your money, and as an independent wrestler, it's not like you're rich. It's not like I made, when I started out doing this, tons and tons of money. So what I would put into my t-shirt designs, or I put into my gear, or I put into my, training time, supplements, anything like that. It's all part of an investment in yourself as an independent contractor. And it's disheartening that a company could just take it from people with no reason. And that's really what we were fighting for. It had nothing to do.
But it wasn't them. It was one person. But anyway, okay. But that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and Twitter, man, it's always the worst. Like, you'll just somebody will, and it's tough because just out of nowhere somebody will just say the one thing that gets you. Like, you're like, I gotta respond to this. And the sad, like, somebody told me, like, when I first started that gig, actually it's a former champ. He's not with us on the company anymore, but he was just like, dude, he was like, I just block people or I just mute them. He's like, you ever assume that they care? They don't. Yeah. He's like, I know it's tough. He's like, they just say stuff. Like, they don't even know what they said, and they don't care what you say.
It's those lessons for me have gotten a lot better as I've gotten older, and I find triggers to be a treasure. And if something triggers me, it just means it's something that I need to work on inside myself, and it's something that allows me to like get a little better. So when I get triggered by that, it's because there's something about me that I haven't necessarily healed or worked on, and that's how I get situations like that. Is because something that could so obviously create a reaction from you is meant to do that. And that's why I say triggers are treasures, because it allows me an opportunity to look at myself and see where I need to get better. And like, that's what I always want to be, is just a better version of myself. And hopefully everybody else wants that too. And people online that can say things without accountability is where a lot of the problems come in. It's not having a face that's real necessarily on social media, and not having accountability for anything that you really say. And that's in certain times a toxic part of our culture.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because I still deal with it, and then the way I was coping through it is I'll just be a smart ass about something. I'll just reply the most smart ass way I can, and then it became, wow, you're really petty. I can't believe you're so petty. That I was like, oh, come on. I can't even just be a
just
smart
dog
ass.
cussed me for 2 hours.
Yeah.
When I did the Shop DNA socials, I'd be the sweetest person ever.
Yeah.
And they hated it.
Yeah.
And I'd be the sweetest person ever. And eventually, and then sometimes we ended up having normal conversations. Well, do you still have any more of those? Well, let me see. Be nice.
It,
you're terrible. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sure like 20 years from now, we will have psychologically really broken down that behavior and a lot of that. But for now, it's
some doctor make a lot of money
from it. Yes.
Yeah. New Age Dr. Phil will be doing it. Maybe it'll be you, Vic. Maybe it'll be
New Age doctor.
Welcome back to live from Nowville, Dr. Victor, and be quiet, Bubby. It's okay.
All right. Well, we got to wrap up anyway. So, Vic, we'll go ahead and let you go. And thank you. Seriously, again, it was cool talking to you, and I'm glad we got to hang out a little bit here. And look forward to seeing you at Crockett Cup. So
thank you.
Get there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys June 3rd and 4th. Follow me on social media on Twitter at Vic Delicious, the Now Vic, all that good stuff. Oh no, wait, maybe it's the other way around. Instagram and Twitter. Well, either way, you'll find me on there. So thank you guys very much. Have a great week. And
wow. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Later.
Oh. All right. Well, that was Vic Delicious from the Now. Thanks to him for hanging out with us here for a little bit. It was cool talking to him, and that was cool hearing you guys talk. Like I didn't realize you guys had so much backstory.
Oh, I've known them forever, 15 years. Yeah, we used to work a lot of the same towns. A lot of weekly shows back in those in mid 2000s. A lot of Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. You could work all the time. You'd make about $20 combined. But there was there was a lot of those shows, and we worked all of them, a ton of them. A lot of Tennessee, Illinois, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio, Indiana. Kenzie's dad used to run it every Wednesday show in Sevierville at a bar. It was all blood and guts. Because everybody had to have their own flavor, right? You couldn't just have the same show every week if you were within an hour, right? So, good stuff back then.
Oh,
good stuff. Cool. You got to know people really well and fast. You know who you didn't like and who you did like very quickly.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you been in the business?
Like 06 or something. I came into business later. I was like 30.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So I was in state, so I trained anyway, which helped me not get as injured at the amount of times that I've had the shit kicked out of me in the ring.
Yeah, you've taken some stuff. I don't know if you'll even see this video here, but I pulled this up the other day on TikTok.
I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for a short video, if you don't mind. At that, I yield back.
So, all right, that was for the people. So,
well, that was mean. Yeah, I was severely injured.
Injuries and stuff. So, we'll take one question, and then we're going to get to our moment of Salroyded Capsule. So, you play guitar, drums, bass, sing. What are you doing, Danny? You muted yourself.
Hold on. Okay.
You don't mind?
Well, I don't play anything anymore. I haven't played in 20 years, but I did play drums is what I played.
Nice. Okay.
Then I quit.
All right. Well, don't forget those cool new items over in nationalwrestlingalliance.com/shop.
What is that?
Dealz brought for you.
What is that noise? You hear it?
I thought it was you.
No.
It's the clip that I don't know. I hear it like the missile going off. All right. Well, we can't get out of here without a beautiful moment of Sal for
Oh,
everybody.
boy.
Finish the job.
You may be the stupidest son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. You do not have enough sense to pour piss out of a boot. You were given one simple task. Perform in the match. Then you were told to kiss the feet of the man I sent there as my proxy, the man with no pain, the high priest of punishment and two diets. He told you to kiss his feet, and what did you do? You and Gags ran like cowards. That is hardly paying attention to details. You are a loser and a moron. What's real funny to you?
All right. Well, I assume next time, the next moment of Sal we get, we'll have a bald Sal.
Yeah. Well, speaking of how it's a small world and everybody knows everybody forever, I've known Sal for about 15 years too. And him and I actually used to drive a live event truck together for TNA years ago. So even though he's a freakazoid and I don't like him now, I made sure that somebody got a beanie to him because it was chilly there and brother was bald and, you know, so it could be beanie Sal, could be bald Sal. I don't know. He might have ate the beanie. But I have seen some people right before we get out of here. They were just saying, well, we see it tomorrow's power. I know you told them already, but tell them again.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the official graphics yet, but I was told that it's going to be a recap episode this week. So if you didn't get to see 312, you're going to get to see some of the matches from there. That actually, that Sal match with Gags is going to be a part of that show, I'm told. And then also the debut of Yabo the Clown versus Kratos, and that awesome 20-plus man battle royal is going to be a part of NWA Power. So all of those will be a lot of fun to watch, especially if you haven't seen them already, as we get everything back together. Like that we've been talking about, it's a small crew, so everybody just got back in, and so everybody's trying to get the turnaround time. So it's just easier for a guy like Trask. I think that they just planned out that it's going to be kind of a recap of what you saw.
Not bad to have a recap because not everybody got to see everything.
Yeah, exactly. And if you were watching live, yeah, for sure. There was a cutout there at one point. And anyway, I think that is it for tonight. We appreciate everybody who hung out with us in the chat. A lot of you were in Chicago, and you've made it back, and you still showed up for this. So honored to have you here. And make sure you check out all the cool stuff Dealz got for you in the shop. Again, nationalwrestlingalliance.com/shop. Check that stuff out. Make sure you check those featured items so you can get the turnbuckle and awesome stuff like that. Thanks to Scott, Carrie, Richard, Pam, Axel, Caps, Dead Kobe, Paladin, Scott's out there. Everybody, thank you for being here. And you guys, until next week, please